Frugal people of Reddit, what's a way to save money that most people don't realize? Before we start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos. I wish you a pleasant viewing experience. Story 1. Take good care of the things you currently own and use them for as long as you can. Buy replacement things less often. Cars, phones, clothes, etc. Story 2. This might be counterintuitive, but budget for fun money. If you are being super careful with money and don't do anything fun, it gets old. And then you make some silly expensive purchase that maybe you can't undo. But if you have a budget item for fun and you don't overspend that amount, of course, then you get to have some fun, and it makes all the other being frugal you're doing easier to do. Story 3. Bulk food. A 41 LNLB sack of rice is so cheap versus buying a pound or 5 at a time. Most dried foods are much cheaper in a large sack. Same with meat. Buy the bulk pack, portion it into smaller amounts and freeze most of it. Store brand items are generally a good deal. Snacks are expensive and generally crappy nutrition. Don't buy chips or sodas. If you need something sweet, make small batches of cookies from scratch or brew some tea or coffee. Cooking for one sucks, tends to be wasteful, and is expensive. Get a few people together and split the cost or trade off. Fashion is expensive. Buy 1 or 2 pairs of good shoes, boots rather than many cheap ones. Same for trousers and coats. Choose your hobbies and recreation wisely. Consider how much enjoyment you get for money spent. There are many ways to have a good time and be social that don't require spending much money. Learn to fix stuff. When you can, repair, don't replace. Don't get trapped into a sunk cost. Sometimes it is cheaper to walk away. A coat of paint will pretty up a lot of things. Stay the hell out of poverty traps like Dollar General. They are a terrible deal. Don't overbuy your vehicle. Don't try to impress people with your car. If the person selling you the car seems shady, trust your gut and walk away. Never buy from a buy here, pay here lot. Interest and fees are a killer. Pay off interest as fast as you can. And the biggest, don't be ashamed. Advertising conditions you to want more than you can afford and feel bad when you don't have the nicest things. That's bullshit. Story 4. Try to put a few clothes aside in a box and forget about it. 6 months later, open the box and you'll feel like you have a whole new wardrobe. Do your own cleaning, washing, ironing. Some people pay for this, but they don't realize just how much they spend on such things in a year. Fancy haircuts seldom last. Give your friend a pair of scissors or do it yourself if you can. Don't succumb to peer pressure, following others of your generation, but at the same time, set aside some bit of money for something you really like to ensure you're caring for your happiness. It could be a meal out a month, an ebook, anything. If you're lacking entertainment, a surprising number of older books, movies, etc. are available legally free on the internet. Delay renewals of cable, Netflix, etc. for a month or 2 if you can. Story 5. If there's something you see and you really want, like a video game or movie, etc., wait 24 hours. If you still want it, then buy it. This kills a huge amount of impulse buys. When you do buy something, ask if you can buy it twice. If you buy something for $20 but not $40, then don't buy it. The key is really to live below your means. If you're making, say, $2,000 a month, don't move into an apartment that's $1,400 in rent. Just because you have the money doesn't mean you can afford it. Story 6. Being raised as a dirt child by one of the world's cheapest men, my awesomely weird father, here is my advice. This is the biggie. Constantly question your own social conditioning, swallow your pride and look for creative solutions. X by XXL, preferably used. Kids' clothes as an adult. X. Accept the scraps of entitled rich people. My father literally got a perfectly good TV from a dorm dumpster that some turd threw away when they moved out. My dad, crazy as he is, saw a random hose down by the river and instead of leaving it be like a normal person, got a new hose. X. Scour the thrift store for things new in packages that can pass for gifts. Bonus. Be constantly scouring for well-priced gifts for specific people and save them for whatever event. Attempt to fix things and limp them along until they completely die. We had so much crap like the cassette player with the broken radio when I was a kid. Always go for used first. Track your spending to get an idea where you're going overboard and/or can cut. Take a hard look at canceling most or all subscription services. Avoid buying products overpriced due to meaningless marketing like women's razors. I could go on, but I've already said a ton. My last insight is I've come to view time and money as opposite ends of a scale. Easy to spend money and save time. Easy to save money and spend time. Penny pinching to the extreme takes a ton of time, so be prepared for saving money to be like a hobby. Story 7. These ways could be more applicable for most of the students, but here are some of them. Try to buy some refills like pens and paper pages instead of buying a whole new product. I also asked some people here to give me some papers I can use, scratch papers, for solving. Don't always rely on branded items. Try generic products because some of them works really fine too. Also, instead of buying binder notebooks, just try to buy some binder rings and reuse some folders and DIY. I know many people have said it many times, but learn how to prioritize things. Don't always try to follow anything that's a social media trend. Just because an item is on sale, it doesn't mean that you have to necessarily buy it. Instead of buying bottled waters when going to school, settle for a tumbler. When buying clothes, try to consider thrift shops and look for good quality clothes. I also plan on saving some money for some plain shirts because I want to avoid stressing myself out on what to wear, and because most of my clothes are worn out now. People need to get used to how I dress myself. Investment is also a must. I am not saying that I got rich from these ways, but it helped me a lot, and of course, my parents. Hope that my words made some sense. Edit added some words. Story 8. Triage. Pay your bills on time. Double check if you really use all your subscriptions. If you got a gym membership, you don't need to shower at home. Join a medical drug study for free help if you have depression, etc. Use Facebook Marketplace and secondhand stores. Buy one good pair of shoes, maybe boots and insoles. Eggs are cheap. Soup is filling, and oats are versatile. Grow your own veggies in summer. Tomato, bell peppers, tomatillo, radishes, zucchini, cucumbers are super easy to grow. Just needs a lot of sunlight. It's hard if you live in an apartment, but if so, grow your own sprouts, cheap and nutritious. Story 9. Buy nothing and free cycle. There is so many good things people just give away for free. You're not seen as a mooch for asking, but rather someone who's looking to give something a new lease on life and keep items out of a landfill. I'd reckon 90% of my children's clothes and equipment have been passed on by others. Also, always drive through wealthy neighborhoods on the night before garbage collection, particularly on bulk pickup days. You can find amazing things curbside. Story 10. Manage your driving. Only drive your car where you actually need to go. Plan trips so you can run multiple errands near each other. Don't joyride for the hell of it. If you're commuting to a fixed workplace 5 days a week, work to find a cheaper way to get there than driving your own individually occupied car. Take the train or the bus, organize a carpool, ride a bike, whatever. Every mile you drive your car costs you money in gas and maintenance. Every mile you drive your car increases your chance of an accident, which speaks to repairs and insurance costs. Every mile you drive reduces the car's resale value. I see so many people spending over $100 a week just paying for gas and insurance, not even talking about loan payments or resale value, and wonder why do they do that? Story 11. Several have already mentioned cooking your own meals and avoiding going out to eat. I'll add on top of that to eat leftovers. Leftover meat can last for 3-4 days safely, and veggies even longer. You can get a decent air fryer for under $100, and they are amazing for reheating food compared to a microwave. If your local grocery store has a great deal on certain types, cuts of meat that you like, stock up. Freeze what you're not going to eat soon. Seriously saves a lot of dollars. Story 12. Cut out alcohol. You will not only save money on drinks for when out in bars, but also expensive drinks at home. You will save on buying unnecessary drinks for others which they didn't really want, but you got for them anyway, because you were drunk and generous. You will save on other stupid purchases you are in danger of making when tipsy. You will have less expensive accidents where you drop fragile possessions, snag clothing, spill things on carpets and clothing. You will always be on time for work with a fresh brain, enabling you to maximize your day and potentially earn more money. The list is endless. Story 13. I think most people know the ways to save money. It's a matter of willingness. Everybody knows you should only spend money on what's necessary if you want to save money, but what they deem as necessary can highly vary depending on who you ask. For example, we all need food, clothes, and shelter at a bare minimum. But are you willing to save loads of money by eating PB&Js every day for every meal? Are you willing to only have 2 to 3 plain outfits you can wear outside the house? Take cold 2 to 3 minute showers every 2 to 3 days? It's in the many little habits, many smaller than those I've mentioned, that add up if you are cutting back across the board. If you live like you're poor, you may become rich. But if you live like you're rich, you'll drive yourself poor. Story 14. Just don't do things you don't want to do. Don't want to wear makeup? Don't. Don't want to shave your legs? Don't. Want to wear sweatpants literally 100% of the time you're not working? Have at it. Don't want to do any skincare because your skin is fine on its own? Go for it. Want to wear the same plain black shirt every day? You get the picture. Story 15. Buy less. Capsule wardrobe is enough. If you can afford to buy higher quality items, do. Shop your closet. Never buy full price. Go utilitarian instead of fast fashion or splurge items. Spend on your health. Gym, workouts, electric toothbrush, etc. BC medical bills are way more expensive. Keep recurring costs low. Rent, mortgage, car, etc. Pay down debt. Don't wait for when payment is due. You're still accruing interest. Pay whenever you feel you can, in addition to when payment is due. Make your own coffee. I did the math. Bought a Keurig and reusable coffee filter in Contigo. Much cheaper than coffee out. Have some friends in same social strata. Instead of going to movies, have a potluck movie night. Know exactly how much you make versus spend. Grocery list. This one is tough. I wish there were more meal prep lists so you could cook for the week. Never put anything on credit you can't afford that second, unless it's life or death. Car broke down. Medical necessity. Always shop around town for a deal. Double coupons. Store A versus Store B for sale item. Experiences over stuff for presents and free time. Don't dye your hair or sew any fancy extras. Spend where it counts. Health, safety, some level of life enjoyment. Story 16. Buying in bulk and rationing out meals can get meals to be under $1 per serving. The lowest my family has gotten was 50 cents a serving. Also, to people who say you can't eat cheap and healthy, yes, you can. You are just not trying hard enough. Meal preps can be extra cheap if you know what you are doing. Also, there is a like 10 lb bag of chicken at Walmart for like $11. Even for a big family like mine, that chicken is at least 3 meals. Imagine for only 2 people. Sure, eating chicken for months on end sucks, I am well aware, but that is not all you have to buy. Story 17. Learn to sew. If you can get a machine secondhand, that's great. If not, sewing by hand is just fine. You can easily turn a long skirt into a shorter summer skirt, longer slacks into capris or shorts, hem pants, repair split seams, anything. It's far cheaper than buying new every time an item doesn't fit the way you think it should, and it's a skill that can solve a lot of problems. Story 18. This is counterintuitive, but don't buy the cheapest version of everything you get, especially with household items. The quality of the cheapest stuff is poor, and you'll often end up using it much quicker than getting something mid-range. Case in point, my other half will buy the cheapest kitchen paper towels. You need to use double to amount due to them being thin. I get mid-range and it takes double the time to run through the same amount. Shop smart, not just cheap. Oh, and buy non-branded over-the-counter medicines, e.g. paracetamol, not Tylenol. The patents on most common ones elapsed, so it is literally the same product. Story 19. Honestly, what made a huge difference for me was making my lunches instead of eating out 2 to 3 times a week. I always justified it saying to myself, well, I gotta eat. It's a pretty basic need. But honestly, compared to the cost of packing a lunch, it's crazy how much and how fast I saved ever since making an effort for it. Also, much more healthy most of the time, so that's a nice bonus. Story 20, I'm a big fan of the 72-hour rule, which is if you want to buy something, wait 72 hours, then see if you still want to buy it. In that time frame, do some research to see if the price is the best one, if you can find it used, if you can get it for free, etc. For bigger purchases, more than 200, I try to wait 3 months if I can, then see if I still want it. Sometimes I'll even make a pro-con list. It's helped curb impulse buys and really improve the quality of the purchases that I do make. Story 21. Don't buy something until you actually run out of it. You buy peanut butter once the jar is actually empty. That way you don't accidentally buy a replacement jar, forget about it, finish the first and then buy another to replace it and have 2 jars instead of 1. To build on the cook at home, make as many staples as you can. When I was poor, I'd make baked beans, soy milk, so cheap, pasta sauce, etc., etc. The only staples I found that weren't cost-effective to make was anything dairy, cheese, yogurt, etc. So I just cut back on those. Also, I'm not vegetarian, but I'd basically use meat as a seasoning, like bacon in a pot of soup or beans, and eat eggs. They're a very affordable protein, even if you buy the fancy free-range ones. I also bought a lot of frozen vegetables since fresh were too expensive and spoiled too quickly. If you can afford a deep freezer, do it. Story 22. Receipt scanning apps. I have 3 apps and I scan every receipt I get. You can upload the same receipt to each app. You then earn gift cards to most major retailers, Amazon, and one has a PayPal cash out option. Diapers work great on one app. You earn points for every diaper purchase, then turn around and use gift cards to pay for the next box of diapers. It's a self-feeding cycle. Story 23. Do you have a public library near you? Not just books and DVDs, but they have online subscriptions to books, movies, audiobooks, magazines. Many have items you can borrow that you never thought of from the library. Everything from video games to specialty baking pans, tools, themed book, chashi toy boxes for kids. Mine even has a seed library where anyone can get free seeds and info to grow food plants. Also, many do free craft classes or other events for a free evening out, with a good chance of coffee and cookies. Story 24. General good life rule is give attention to things in order of priority. For saving money, this means save money on the big things rather than dissipating your energy on the little things. Rather than only buying the cheapest restaurant meal, cook at home. Rather than going on the cheapest cruise, go camping. Rather than putting half-smoked cigs back in the packet for later, quit. Rather than hassling around fixing a beater car, see if your household can get by with one car or even none rather than two. Get in the habit of asking, do I need this? Rather than, what's the cheapest way to get this? Story 25, stop spending. I am not joking. Those couple of dollars here and there add up and are generally unnecessary rubbish. Also, recognize needs versus wants. Don't get sucked into thinking you need stuff that you see in advertising campaigns. Be content with what you have. For example, I have had people gently hassle me over my 22-year-old jacket. It was expensive and from a well-regarded outdoor equipment shop, but I got it in a half-price sale, and it is still completely waterproof, etc. I still like it. Other people think I need a new jacket, but I don't. And luckily, I'm able to resist their campaign and laugh it off. Just did the figures. It has cost me 3 cents per day so far. But I tell you this to show friends and family as well as retailers can try to influence your spending habits and lead you into financial difficulties. Just be strong and have a look at MimoniMustache.com. Story 26. When you are a young student or just out on your own and really struggling, you can save a ton of money on food. First, food pantries, Rotary Club, fire department, etc. often have pancake dinners, social events, etc. Sign up for all the stuff. Second, get a group together and everyone brings one thing, make it, and everyone eats it, and probably takes leftovers home. This is a fantastic way to have some really good food for a few bucks. Third, Costco samples. You don't actually need a membership. Just go to the counter and ask for a pass so you can look around, then keep it so you don't have to ask again. You can't actually buy anything, but the samples are free. And before anybody gets on my case, the samples are provided by a third party, and the workers want you to take them because after they give away X, they're done. Story 27, run the wheels off your vehicles and learn to do basic repairs and maintenance. Not just on vehicles, though. Basic home and appliance repair helps tremendously. Why call a plumber to reseal a toilet and spend $150 when it's only 2 bolts and a wax ring? All of which cost $5 at the hardware store. Wall outlet no longer working? $50 for an electrician to come out to your house and replace it, or $50 to buy a new one and replace it yourself. Car needs a synthetic oil change? $65 at the Jiffy Lube, and God only knows if you're getting what you pay for. Or $35 to buy the synthetic oil and filter to change it yourself. Learn how your things work and learn how to fix and maintain them. You will save thousands over the years. Story 28. Stop spending $1,000 a year on coffee. I enjoy Nespresso but don't like their coffee, so I bought a filter that allows me to reuse the same pod indefinitely while enjoying my favorite beans ground fresh each day. Best part is, no waste, and a cup costs about $0.30 instead of $1.25 plus. At 2 cups a day, it saves about $700 year multiplied by the number of drinkers in the household. Now think about how much you spend at Starbucks for a double latte, espresso, frappuccino with cinnamon. Story 29. Plan your meals and never throw food. Got some extra ingredient? Google what you can make with it before it's spoiled. Found some of my fave recipes that way. Buy quality when you do buy. I have clothes and shoes that are 6 to 8 years old because of this. Have a wardrobe where most things go together. I have around 40 items, not counting pajamas, etc. And I always have something to wear since most fit with each other. Use time to learn your colors, cuts, preferences, and write down what was wrong with an item when you declutter it so you don't make the same mistake. Some of mine, pastels don't look good on me, never an oversized top, never a cryo plastic material. Take care of your items, learn to mend clothing, and always try repair before you buy new. This also goes for large appliances. Story 30. One of the biggest things I would say is, attempt to become an expert regarding every major purchase you make. Don't just buy a car. Read reviews, research brands, find where your money is best spent. The used car market is currently overpriced, but in a normal circumstance, you can save a lot of money buying a used Toyota with 100,000 miles on it if it was well taken care of. than if you bought a General Motors made car with 50,000 miles on it. This is not always the case. Same with phones. Typically, iPhones last longer than their Android counterparts, hold their value longer, and Apple has industry-leading support for older devices. Despite the fact that the phones may be pricey, they are built quite well, and in my opinion, they can last many years if properly cared for. Research your purchases to a huge extent to make sure you get the most value, not just the cheapest. Story 31, honestly, restricting yourself from buying the things you want. By no means am I encouraging impulse buying. I think we should think clearly if we want to buy something. But at the same time, I think that buying what we want prevents us from binging and feeling deprived. Buying what we want also helps us feel rewarded, and I think it helps us from preventing burnout. I guess this is all from my own experience, and it varies from person to person. So yeah, based on my personal experience, I set a limit for my wants for this month, etc. That helps me in preventing an impulse buy. Story 32. Learn to repair electronics and machines instead of throwing things away or calling someone to come fix. A lot of fixes are small and easy to do. Like sometimes something isn't working because it's dusty inside and just needs to be wiped out. Or there's animal fur that needs to be plucked out with tweezers. Sometimes it's as easy as something just disconnected, and so you reconnect it. Once this kind of stuff is practiced, other things are learned. So instead of buying brand new products, you can fix damaged ones for half the price and save money that way as well. Unfortunately, they're making many newer electronics unable to repair, but older stuff is fine to fix. I look at it as if it relies on batteries or plugs into the wall. It very likely can be fixed without a repairman. Story 33. If you really want to try a super specific recipe, but it uses things you don't normally buy, say you want to make macarons, but you never buy almond flour, for example. If you live anywhere that has access to a shop with a bulk section, my favorite is Winco Foods, take a measuring cup and measure out exactly what you'll need for the recipe. You won't have any waste of the obscure ingredient that you'll never use again, and you'll be paying for exactly what you need. But you can apply this to other things too. Bulk hot cocoa mix, my family's favorite. We like to use 2 TBS per mug of cocoa. So my mom will take our 2 TBs measuring spoon. We have one that's 2 tablespoons specifically for coffee, so she'll just grab that and bring it with, and she'll measure out 25 or 50 cups of hot cocoa using that spoon. If there's a weird amount left when we finish the bag, like a tablespoon, she'll know that one of the kids was using too much, and she can remind them to measure it out. Whenever we make monster cookies, an old recipe in our family, one recipe takes 3 of our largest bowls, and you have to mix them by hand because the dough is so thick you could destroy a KitchenAid. And one recipe's dough will last you like a year, even with 4 to 5 kids and a stoner husband. She measures everything out in the bulk section so that she has exactly enough oatmeal, exactly enough candy, exactly enough chocolate chips, and it makes dumping and mixing everything way easier. Just use the bulk section, man. If you measure things out, it's cheap and easy, plus it's almost always cheaper, unless you're talking like Whole Foods mega organic bulk section, in which case I'd try somewhere else. This is great for people with a sweet tooth too. Bulk section candies are my favorite. In my bulk section, there's a barrel full of nothing but Sour Patch Kids watermelon candies, but they're off-brand. They taste exactly the same, and I can get like 2 pounds and enjoy them instead of going down the candy aisle and get ripped off by a giant bag with less than 1/4 pound in it. Story 34, don't wait for something to break to replace it. If something in your house is essential, i.e. refrigerator, and breaks down, you're over a barrel to replace it ASAP. But if you know your fridge is on its last legs, start looking for deals to replace it. Buy quality items that will last, but avoid fads and features you won't use, like Wi-Fi-enabled toasters. Sell your used appliances to offset replacement costs. But be wary when buying anything secondhand. You might be inheriting problems that are too costly to repair. Mostly be content with what you have. Buying things won't fill that hole in your life. Story 35, don't buy new phones or laptops every year. Stick with a device for as long as possible. Every new technology is attractive, but only buy if it adds any value to your work or life. Buying a phone because it have telephoto lens doesn't make any sense unless you are a photographer. Okay, if you buy a phone with a telephoto lens, stick to that device till it become enough old to be replaced. Same goes with laptops. M1 is better than Intel, but do you need M1 as of now for any reason? If not, stick with your laptops as long as possible. Story 36, contribute to your retirement or savings first and do it automatically. Budget from that point. Always buy used cars. Never new, never lease. Keep cars until they have lost the majority of their value. Old cars are easier to total in car accidents, and thus you can get a payday and keep your work truck, if you don't mind some dents. Buy real estate below what you can afford. 10% gross income is great. Spend more money on quality items that last, have room to grow into instead of being tempted by the cheapest option. You'll like them more, be more likely to maintain them, and their resale value will be higher. Conversely, cheap, low-quality items should be avoided. This isn't the same as inexpensive. Crappy goods break and tend to pile up, which contributes to moving, cleaning, storage costs over time. You won't like them much, they will break, and people don't want to buy your cheap shit. Story 37, never buy the newest model. Never buy a brand new car. Do your research and get a solid, dependable used car. Your best bet is something off-lease. When it comes to electronics, there's nothing wrong with buying manufacturer refurbished electronics. They are oftentimes much less likely to have issues than brand new items because they've gone through more rigorous testing before being resold. And manufacturer refurbished electronics will always be cheaper. Handle your groceries with the same level of detail you handle the rest of your bills. Plan a general menu in advance. Use the menu to create a grocery list and then shop to the list. Do not just graze in the grocery store daily. Whatever your grocery budget is, give yourself about 5 to 10% for, oh, that looks good, but it's not on the list. But keep those purchases low. Also, in regards to groceries, learn where the deals are and how to stretch. Most often, you can get certain items like whole pork loins or briskets at big box stores like Costco or Sam's Club at less than half of what you would pay at a Kroger's. Learn to make your meat purchases stretch. Pork loins typically get an entire pork loin at Costco for less than what that little 12 pork loin from Kroger's would cost. Slice that thing up into pork chops and you can typically get 3 to 4 family-sized portion S of chops for about $13.15. Rotisserie chickens are typically sold by Costco at a financial loss to them just to get you in the store. So stock up on those. Pull the meat to make several meals of tacos, soups, shaka stews. Pork shoulders, cook them low and slow in the crock pot, then once they cool, pull the meat for pulled pork sandwiches. Sliced bread makes for a better hot dog bun and is cheaper. It does not, however, make for a better hamburger bun. If you have a local Kroger's, swing by the meat department in the first couple hours after they open on a regular basis. Once they put their meat out, they are required to sell it within X number of days, regardless of how long it takes it to go bad. If they have anything that is about to reach that date, they will tag it at 20–40% off to sell it before they have to throw it away. You may not catch any deals every day, but if you watch out, you can catch them at least a couple times a week. Story 38. Go learn to work with your hands. It's a damn great way to make money, and it's damn great feeling at the end of the day. Whether it's mining, welding, fishing, or building, it's a great way to live and meet people. Plumbers make their own hours, same as electricians. My generation is a bunch of pussies that went to school and act like it's a badge of honor. Story 39. If you live in a northern climate and have a house, learn to tolerate the cold. Keep your heat at 60. Learn to dress warm hanging around the house. I buy Champion brand thin thermal tops and bottoms, $15 each. Less when there's deals online. Sweatpants, sweatshirts over top, double socks. Very important to layer and overlap tops, bottoms, pants, socks, all overlapped, tucked in well, so no bare spots. You will never feel cold. Sleep under 2 layers of quilts, extra large so there's no exposure. Your health will be better as bacteria, mold grow less at lower temps. I save on the order of several $1,000s a year, but I live alone in a 1900 SF house. I also get away with no air conditioning in the summer as I have a whole house attic fan, live in the woods with lots of tree shade, and can sleep in the basement during rare heat waves. But I'm a weirdo, LOL. Story 40. 1. Answer, self-control. Just stop spending money on unnecessary items. Some steps to help support this goal. Write down everything you buy and how much it cost every day for a week. You must write it down. Simply looking at your online statement does not work. Second, carry and use only cash. There is no feeling of loss when using your card. It hurts a little more when you take out paper money and give it away and instantly notice the loss. Story 41. Cook all of your meals. Take lunch to work and coffee. If you buy gifts for people, B-days, Christmas, etc., shop in early John during all the sales or end-of-season sales. Keep everything in a box. I have a shit ton of gifts in a huge bin that I bought for less than $12 because I buy things that are marked down by 60–80%. I haven't bought any stocking stuffers, B-day gifts for kids, friends, etc. in years because of this. Like right now, I need to give a gift to a friend whose birthday is coming up, and I just pulled out this amazing wool wrap that I got for $12 LOL. Cell phone plans. Don't go big telco. Go for the smaller ones, ESP if you don't travel a lot. My kids have a 23-month plan. Data isn't a lot, but they're teens and free Wi-Fi is everywhere. They get unlimited talk, text nationwide. Always pays yourself first. Contribute a dedicated % of your pay towards your investments, retirement, savings, then bills, then fun money. When it comes to saving, forward thinking is best. Example, I started saving for my kids' post-secondary education before they were born. It wasn't much, like 100, 150 month, and over time, increased that contribution. When I saw that my kids would need braces, I started saving $50 75 month for their future braces. By the time one of them actually needed braces at 14, I had already saved up that money. Then we discovered that my husband's work insurance covered half of that, so that extra $2,800 went back into their college fund. Get rid of all of your extra credit cards. The one you do have, reduce the credit limit if you tend to overspend. Learn the difference between a want, a need, or it's shopping. You already have clothes, so do you need another sweater or do you want one? Take care of the things you do have so they last longer and you don't have to replace them too often. Story 42, buy a lightly used car. Topic 2 years old, not an old used car. New cars lose value super quickly. But buying old used cars is also a trap. Sure, the car is cheap, but you end up spending just as much as a car payment repairing things that break, plus the opportunity costs of your car being in the shop a bunch, missing work as your car didn't start that day, etc. There are a bunch of 2-year car leases that result in 2-year-old used cars in good condition in car lots. The excess supply depresses the price of 2-year-old used cars, making them a bargain. Story 43, don't buy things you don't need. That's absolutely the most important thing. Look especially at what you are subscribed to. Do you really need what you are subscribed to? I did look at the things I was subscribed to earlier this week and will save 15 euros per month next year. Secondly, try to waste less. I keep my grocery bills in check as I don't allow myself to waste more than 1.5 euros per week. That does include everything from parts of paprikas you can't eat to making too much food and having to throw something away. Thirdly, limit spending on fun stuff. I have a maximum amount of money that I can spend on fun stuff each month. It forces me to make choices and to make sure I save money each month. Lastly, keep track of all your expenses. I record all my expenses every single day. It also helps me keep my costs in track. If I don't do it for a single month, things spiral out of control quickly. Edit. And before I forget, don't let frugality rule your life. Because I look at what I do and don't do with money, I am able to do whatever I want, whenever I want. Life should also be fun after all. Story 44, I actually allocate money for stuff I want, so I might buy a new game this paycheck, or I may spend a bit of the money on something small and put a chunk away for a bigger project. A small expense now means you don't get overly stressed and then blow large sums on something extravagant. Also, if shopping, lots of store brand stuff is the same as the premium stuff. It comes out of the same factory most times. Finally, for big stuff like insurance or utilities, ask for discounts. Case in point, my car insurance was up for renewal and I just asked for a discount and they knocked $70 off the price with no argument at all. Story 45. Plan for and buy everyday household items in bulk. For instance, the discount store, Big Lots, does a once-a-year customer appreciation sale where your entire order is 20% off. So I try to budget and buy a year's worth of things like garbage bags, cleaners, and various other household everyday used things that don't expire. On a personal note, buy high-quality shoes, but you don't have to buy new. For instance, Converse and Vans can be washed in a washing machine on cold with mild soap like Ecos. Just take the laces out and put them in a garment bag and wash them with your whites and hit the rubber parts with a Mr. Clean Magic Eraser. They will come out like new. They use a premium glue that won't come free like most others. If you get bleach stains in black fabric, you can use Sharpie to color the bleach spots, then throw them in a blacks only load once the ink dries. Some foods are very easy to grow from scraps, even indoors. Get a nice water bottle, either glass or stainless steel. Bottled water is very expensive and wasteful. Hope some of this helps. Good luck, everyone.